Hello, I'm Kohalmi-Monfils. I work for ENGIE Asia Pacific. I'm a EVP of Strategy, New Business and Digital. So new business for us is everything that is new solutions, new technologies, new business models. So all the exciting stuff. And digital, of course, is part of our digital transformation, which a lot of times goes into our new solutions and our new business models. I spoke mostly about our experience with regards to the digital transformation of ENGIE. As a large company, the digital transformation is only one of the big transformations that we've gone through next to decarbonization and decentralization of our energy. And therefore, I was speaking about our journey and how we use digital transformation in delivering customer solutions and in driving efficiencies in our operations. Not so much recommendations, I think rather explaining our journey and our challenges can give some tips to the audience with regards to what a large company like this is going through and how they can help us achieve those challenges. Well, our journey was a rough one and it's still moving ahead. We still have a lot of hard bits ahead of us. So I believe for a large organization like this, we come with more than 100 years of history. We have a very different DNA from the young startups that you see in this space, which have digital built into their genes, basically. So for us, this is a hard journey. Not that there aren't pockets of transformation going on individually, but actually understanding where we should be going as a group going forward. It really needs a plan. You cannot leave that to luck. So even though you start that way, that there's a lot of sporadic movements and very much in silos, very much ad hoc around the world, in terms of bringing all of that together to share the best practices, in terms of driving the direction of which way we need to go, it really needs a broad-scale plan. And that plan in the beginning is just about digitalizing ourselves, the workforce, making sure that we can communicate across the world, so giving us digital tools that make that happen. In terms of the customer solutions, it's very much driven by the customer. So the customer is demanding digital solutions and therefore we have to put the customer in the driving seat with regards to their energy consumption. And then in our operations, I think is the most difficult area because we are in the driving seat and we think we're doing a great job already. So it's very difficult sometimes to convince the people in the operating floor how they need to change and actually up their game in the already great job to get more efficiencies into our operations. Well, from what I heard today at the Huawei presentation, it will become the biggest IoT market in the world this year. 150 million connected devices, that definitely beats the rest of the world altogether, and they claim that will happen this year. So China is definitely taking the lead, but the rest of Asia Pacific also is following not far behind. First of all, because of their proximity to China and because of Chinese companies coming in and driving those solutions. Second of all, because of some sort of leapfrogging effect. As we saw, for example, in banking, if you open your mobile banking app here, it's light years ahead of anything that you have in Europe or the US. So again, the customer is driving this leapfrogging. The customer has needs with regards to digital. The customers here in Asia are much more digital than other places in the world. And therefore, we see this in all aspects, that Asia is in the driving seat with regards to the IoT revolution. Yes, so I would broaden that. Any type of sensing of things happening which impact our operations, which is in a place that is inaccessible or difficult to access, is a solution which, of course, increases our efficiencies tremendously. So even before IoT, we started with drones to monitor our large pipelines or our assets in the middle of the field, which before needed people to actually go there periodically and monitor them. So today with tanks, obviously it's much easier to have a sensor and know exactly where the tank stands than for somebody to go there and having to open the tank. Sometimes they're very large, sometimes they contain toxic types of materials. So anything that you can do censoring things that are in inaccessible locations is a huge efficiency gain for our industry. purgatory tends to happen when we talk only about pilots. So if we're always in a pilot mode, if we're basically being risk averse and not wanting to move ahead, let's trial this, let's pilot this. Sometimes even when it has already been piloted in another location, that tends to happen and that tends to block things happening. So in our case, what we make sure is that any pilot has very clear deliverables, very clear KPIs, and already a next steps right after the pilot. So the pilot not only has KPIs, but also a time frame in which we're meant to be delivering those. And then we already know that, once the KPIs are met, then we step to next step and the next step. So this is the way to avoid the pilot purgatory, is to already have your next steps laid out before knowing the end results, because the end results can be kind of quantified, and as long as we make the KPIs, then there's no reason why we should stop. My favorite part this time has been around some of the sessions around AI. It's a personal interest, but also after IoT, the group is now thinking about what we should be doing with AI, and there's a group-wide think tank that has been brought together and I'm part of to kind of try to decide the way forward and how we should tackle this. So therefore, all the AI-related challenges, recommendations are very interesting and exciting for me. I would say Texelerate Asia is very diverse, vibrant, and frankly somewhat overwhelming. The amount of new technologies here this year is, and the amount of new startups and things is just really overwhelming. I'm very surprised to see a big presentation by cryptocurrencies and all the technologies around it, which is quite new and exciting. So definitely one day is not enough to get to know everything and understand what's going on.